I'd like to welcome you all to this Exhibition World discussion in conjunction with Singapore Tourism Board. I have with me Christopher McCune, the Managing Director of Montgomery Asia, who'll be giving us his views on a recent event they've held, Geo Connect Asia, and a few thoughts on Singapore's position in terms of welcoming back events. Welcome, Chris. Thanks for joining me.
Lovely to be here, Ian. Lovely to see you.
So keen to hear how Geo Connect Asia went, and the first large event in Singapore for 2021.
Yeah, it was good. It was exciting. I mean, exciting equals crazy as well. I mean, the amount of work. We probably fit I don't know, a year's work into about 7 weeks. It was about as hardcore as it gets, and we all think we're online experts, whereas actually we're face-to-face experts. So to kind of change into online, virtual, digital, hybrid experts is no mean feat. Actually, it does take quite a lot of work, and the learnings for all of us at every level were fabulous. And well, the whole team just got involved. You can't have hierarchy in those situations. You just got to get on with it. Just muck in like we all do on events. It was fabulous, actually. Yeah, thanks for asking.
And what was the response when you launched the event, and what were your expectations?
Well, I think a lot of the associations we had as our supporters were, that they weren't surprised we were going ahead, but they kind of said, "Wow, you guys are going for it." And I never wavered. I never ever wavered. And obviously, we're all it's a small community in the events world. We all know each other, and the fabulous other organisers that are here will know that we just said, no, we're going to go for it. Why not? And Singapore Tourism Board said, well, if you're going to go for it, we're going to back you. We'll work with you completely from day one, which they did. Amazingly, actually, as a government association, they kind of just became an extension of the team. So it worked brilliantly well, actually. They financially supported us as well for some of it through subsidies, which we can talk about later. But the other associations, they really banded together. They helped us get guests of honor. They helped us get, people to sign up to the conference. And it's certainly no easy task to get people to sign up for a conference when they might be being tested, they might be tracked for their movements, they might be, there's so many things. But at the end of the day, people wanted to see each other. Face to face hasn't changed. People like people. I like people, you do. And we want to get back together. We want to get back together. Look, sure, this is lovely. It's so brilliant to be able to speak to you, but it's just so much nicer seeing each other in person. So to run Geo Connect Asia in Singapore as the first large event back, it was a bit of an honor for us, actually. And I hope it just does a tiny little bit to push this industry forward.
Yeah. I mean, did you have to have a contingency plan in place as well?
No, we had to have about 50 contingency plans in place. Yes, is the answer. We had many contingency plans in place because the borders were opening, then they were closing, then they might be opening, then there was travel bubbles, then there weren't travel bubbles, then we got to test, then we haven't got to test. So yes, we had multiple contingency plans. Of which, thank goodness, we had good partners in the government. Otherwise, it would have been a much more difficult environment to work in.
How do you feel then Singapore is ready to welcome back events? I mean, Geo Connect Asia must have sent a big signal of confidence to the market.
Yeah, I think so. And is what we did the absolute blueprint for what everyone else needs to do? Of course, it's not. Everyone will do their own version, and everyone will bring out their own slight new innovations. But we needed to start. We had Travel Revive, and we had PCMA, but obviously they are within the travel and the exhibitions, conferences industry anyway, and we go to those things because it's relaunching of our own industry. So Geo Connect Asia was probably the first one of an industry that's just a normal standard industry to do an exhibition within. It's a new innovative industry, but you still got to sell people to come in. There's got to be a need. They've got to want to learn. They've got to want to interact. And it was fabulous to be able to bring that back. But I think it was a good launch pad for the MICE industry to relaunch. I mean, here it's 1% of the GDP. It's okay, 1% to many doesn't sound like much, but that's a huge amount of revenue for the country. There's 34,000 jobs. MICE is essential here, and it's so good as a relaunch for so many industries that are struggling, and we can help. So yeah, someone had to start it. We were very proud to be part of that, but was it the be all and end all? No, it was just a great beginning. I hope all the other mum and pup companies and global leaders in the exhibition industry can help them. It can help us all. We learn from them, and hopefully they can take a bit from Geo Connect Asia.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the fact that Singapore Tourism Board helped you out in terms of supporting the event as well, which is obviously a massive thing. How do you think Montgomery benefited from that, essentially?
Well, those that know me know I'll always tell the truth as I see it. And without the subvention funds that Singapore Tourism Board offered us, I'm pretty sure Geo Connect Asia would not have happened. We couldn't have got that across the line. It was essential. And sure, everyone needs help from their partners, and every exhibition organizer, conference organizer knows that. You've got to have great associations supporting you, otherwise you don't get the extra bits, the guests of honors and the ministers and the support to bring in those delegates. But without the financial support, take away all the other things. Without that financial support, extremely challenging at the moment. And that was a huge help. And Singapore Tourism Board do genuinely, I'm not just saying that because you happen to be interviewing me, they genuinely do help us with that.
I know that Singapore have trialed or brought out this safe event platform as well, or SASIOS did that, and Singapore Tourism Board have launched a safe business event framework. Were these implemented at Geo Connect Asia as well? And I mean, what measures were put in place to make sure the event was run safely and securely? Well,
if you can come up with a safety measure on a little whiteboard, we did it. So we did everything we could to ensure people's safety, but we took it a little bit further than just from social distancing and masks, etc. We did on registration, we did a facial recognition. The facial recognition at the same time took your temperature. We then worked with a company that had won an innovation challenge here, which was a tracking device which you added to your badge that tracked which zones you were in, how long you interacted with other people, etc. And it wasn't intrusive. People didn't feel like, oh gosh, they're tracking me. What's happening? It wasn't that at all. It was more, how long are you in the conference hall? How long are you in your one-to-one business meetings area, etc. And it's just purely about keeping people safe and in an extremely unusual situation.
And where do you feel then Singapore is? Where does it sit in terms of being ready for events compared to the rest of the world?
I think it is definitely there as a starting point. I would say it's kind of the small jumping trampoline. Is it the mega trampoline park yet? Probably not. But it's definitely getting there. We are probably the first launch pad in Asia. There are some other countries, of course, that are starting along with the rest of the world. But Singapore has now got a framework to start, and it's going to scale up quickly. It's gone from a maximum limit of 250 at conferences to 750, I think, from around the 24th to 25th of April, where some will get tested. If it's under 250, you won't need testing. It's a local community. And I think gradually that will only extend or improve. Singapore Tourist Board are pretty focused on that, and they work pretty closely with the Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Health to make sure that we can bring events, exhibitions, conferences back safely. But yes, they need to gradually scale up safely. I don't think 100,000 person event is going to happen next week, but could it still happen in Singapore in the future? Absolutely, it could.
And for other organizers looking at Singapore for their next event, any advice to offer?
Do it. Just get it done. Can we go on a plane and go and test places at the moment? Of course we can't, but there are loads of people you can talk to. Pick up the phone to me. I mean, we're all on LinkedIn, we're all on WhatsApp, and it's a small industry, and we genuinely, most people will help each other. We know that, and I think that in so many industries where people are in competition, of course we're in competition, but we're in a situation where we've just got to help each other at the moment. And if you're looking at a new location, there needs to be a hub, and needs to be safe, needs to be, business done in English, good, very good currency, easy to travel to once the borders open. Singapore's got to be up there in your top 5 choices, I'd have thought, sure.
Absolutely. And why has Singapore, do you think, been so successful in compared to other destinations in dealing with COVID-19?
The government here are excellent, is the truth. I'm not saying that because they happen to be my host country. They shut down quickly. That's what they did. They didn't wait. They shut the borders very, very quickly when it all started, and they introduced, you know, these levels of, you know, door's gone orange and door's gone red, and before no one had ever heard of those things, and suddenly we all became experts, like we're all experts on this vaccine, you know, and none of us are medical experts, but we learn as we go, and we very quickly, every level, whether commercial, whether mum and pop, whether international, whether government, we were all working from home within about 24 hours of it being announced. So it happened quickly. And subsequently, there's been a WhatsApp group for the whole country that every day you get two WhatsApp messages that tell you what's going on, numbers, what's happening, what the rules are. So it's very easy to follow. And people here do actually genuinely follow those rules. So, you know, everyone's wearing masks all the time. People did stay in for a long time. You know, schools, churches, mosques, etc. were all closed, and businesses for a long time. But life carried on. So a lot of people are now back at work. They were 50% of staff and 50% of time. Now that's gone back up to 75, you know, numbers of gatherings, number for tours and bike tours, walking tours, etc. have all gone up. So they are really watching how they can improve tourism experiences at a time when tourism can only be experienced by locals. So they're doing that quite well, actually, so that when the borders open, they can encourage business people to come back, but still have fun when they're here. So, I mean,
has the experience of organising Geo Connect Asia sort of shaped your strategic thinking as well?
Yeah, I thought, please don't let there ever be a virus again, so I don't have to do a hybrid event in a virus. Yeah, it has. It really has. I don't think we will ever see the removal of digital from an event again. But actually, I thought that would have been the case anyway. We will always continue to do online, you know, meeting arrangements to be pre-arranged so that they can either be online or face-to-face. I don't think that's ever going. Like I said earlier, will we do the virtual event experience as a simultaneous experience? I honestly don't know what will happen there. I really don't know. I don't think anyone that had their 5-year plans still have those. I think they're 5 minute, 5 week, 5 hours. I don't, you know, everything has changed. But have we got some good plans for the future in the coming 2 years? Yeah, we really have, actually. Exciting times.
And it seems like Asia's the renaissance of major international events coming back. Asia is the leader on that front in terms of not just Singapore.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I think, you know, a lot of people, when they say Asia, they think of China, you know, as all part of the same thing. I think China sits slightly on its own with its borders closed and such a huge number of population where those events are obviously flying, but they are obviously only for a Chinese population. I think things will stay countrywide first and then regional. And I think Asia as a region and Southeast Asia specifically, I think the opportunity is massive, actually, absolutely massive. And I think it will kickstart first.
On that note, thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and for giving us an update on Geo Connect Asia and Singapore's current status. Good to hear. And Singapore is certainly the market's keeping a very close eye on the goings on, what's happening in Singapore. So they are certainly setting the benchmark. That's for sure. But thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, look forward to catching up with you very soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ian. It's a pleasure to see you on the screen. Hopefully see you in person soon.
Absolutely. And thank you to Singapore Tourism Board as well for this opportunity.